Hi, my name is Xin Tong, and I'm a licensed psychologist in the United States. I identify as a Chinese American woman, so my pronouns are she, hers. And I felt inspired to create some videos on Asian mental health after I joined this Facebook group called Subtle Asian Mental Health last year. You might have heard of it, especially if you're watching this video. And I've been so impressed with how supportive and well-run the group is, and especially with how brave the people who post are in terms of sharing some of their struggles and innermost feelings with such honesty. And I figure if you all can have that much courage, maybe I can too in making some of these videos. What I want to do is share information that I think would be valuable to a lot of people, for a lot of people to know, especially in terms of how trauma and culture intersect with each other, which is something I see a lot being posted about on this forum. It's really important to me that people have access to knowledge about how to take care of their mental health. I don't think this is or should be only the privilege of people who can afford to go to therapy or have access to a good therapist. I think there's a set of basic skills that everybody can learn about how to take care of their anxiety and intense emotions in healthy ways. So what I want to do in these videos is share some of those skills and techniques. And the other thing I want to do is share some knowledge and the latest research on culture and psychology in general, especially as it pertains to Asians. Okay, so I want to start with one of the first skills that I teach clients when they come to see me and want something that they can use in the moment to deal with anxiety. And this is called 4-square breathing. It goes by a lot of different names. You might have heard of it in term called equalized breathing, or extended exhales, another term for it. I like the name 4-square breathing because it describes exactly how to do it, which is to inhale for a count of 4, pause, exhale for a count of 4, pause, and then we repeat that cycle 4 times. So I thought I'd demonstrate it now, and then you can practice along with me if you like. So to begin, on your next inhale, you're going to inhale a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and then just breathe naturally. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling right now. See if you feel any less stressed or about the same. Either way is totally fine. Some of the exercises work better for some than others. Most people do tend to like this one, but you don't have to. Something I'd like to share also is a little bit about why it works, and really cool neuroscience research that just came out in the past couple years tells us that as we inhale through our noses, not the mouth, but through the nose, the brain actually lights up if you were to take a picture of it in an MRI. And then as we exhale, the opposite happens. Our brain quiets. But notice what happens when you feel anxious. I know I tend to hold my breath, or I'm breathing really shallowly. So we never get that calming exhale. So when we count in for 4 and out for 4, we're actually making sure that we exhale really well and make it just as long as the inhale. There's another version of this where you can count to 5 on the exhale and make that even longer, called the extended exhale. So the last thing I want to do today is talk a little bit about Asians and mental health and trauma, because I see them as all like being interrelated. So this is where I'm giving a content warning. If you don't want to hear about this topic, that's totally fine, and we'll catch up with each other next time. But in general, humanity has had a pretty violent history, and unfortunately this continues. And if you look at the history of Asian countries in particular, you don't have to go very far to find war, genocide, famine, and lots of natural disasters and other kinds of trauma. What happens is this trauma gets passed down from generation to generation, from our great-grandparents to our grandparents to our parents to us. And what I'm hoping is that we are this generation where we don't pass that trauma down to our children. Another thing to be aware of, though, is that this trauma gets passed down not just in the way we were raised and how we were treated, but it also gets into our very genes. It's part of this field called epigenetics that maybe we'll talk about in the future. But I want to bring that up. Epigenetics is basically the study of how our environment and our experiences affect what genes turn on and off in our bodies. So if you're Asian, chances are really good that you've had some traumatic experiences in your life and in your family and in your genes. So the reason why I bring up all this trauma history is not to make you more discouraged, because there are ways to feel better, which is a lot of what I hope these videos are about. But it's also really important to keep these in mind when you think about how you're feeling these days, because there are really good reasons why you feel the way you do today that are based in the past. Emotions have a logic of their own. And it makes sense when you can think about them not in terms of what's going on in right this moment, but what you've been through in your lifetime. So for example, if you are hanging out with some friends and things are feeling pretty good and suddenly you have a panic attack or feel super anxious, it's not about your friends, but it can be about what you've been through in your life. Or if, for example, someone doesn't text you back right away and you know they're busy, but it still hurts a lot more than you think it should. It makes sense if you've been through some trauma as a child or even as an adult, because if you have, then it makes sense that you're going to feel things much more intensely than other people. So please don't gaslight yourself into thinking your feelings aren't important, because they are. And there's a reason why they're there if we think of them in the right way and as being related to your past. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. And if there are topics you're interested in hearing me talk about, you can feel free to write them in the comments below. All right, take good care of yourself. Until next time.